مسرور يا بحر الهدى أرض التقى والنور جئناك نبغي بيعة نمضي بها للنور.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. It's exciting to welcome you to another interesting episode of your favorite program, Domestic Issues and Their Solutions. Of course, on the show, we engage in lively review of this profound book titled Domestic Issues and Their Solutions. It is a compilation of the pronouncements, guidance, and advice of Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may Allah be his helper, the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, which he proffered on issues and challenges that many couples and their spouses are facing in their marriages across the world, providing solutions to them based on Islamic teachings and guidance. And on today's show, I have with me, joining me to review the book, Mr. Abbas Iromini Sahib, who is the General Secretary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat of Nigeria, currently working with the Federal University Oye Ekiti in Nigeria. Mr. Abbas Sahib, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Mukarram Sahib.
MashaAllah, it's my pleasure to host you on the show today.
Thank you.
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Dear viewers, if you don't have a copy of this book, all you need to do is to visit www.alislam.org and get a copy downloaded and get seated and follow every bit of this review as we explore various aspects of the book into this show. Mr. Abbas Sahib, let us set the ball rolling. I think we are taking it from page 31.
Page 31.
And the subtopic we have here is injustice of in-laws owing to lack of both Qawl Sadid and righteousness.
My
What are
first
the injustices?
observation and point to be made here is this. His Holiness is trying to bring up the issue of the vulnerable party in marital setup, usually the woman. And here is looking at it from the point or the perspective of the in-laws, especially where, as it is said, due to lack of Qawl Sadid and righteousness. And he said, another matter in this regard is the current issue of marital problems, where young women communicate daily that they are enduring cruelty or unfairness of their in-laws or their husband. At times, before marriage, the young woman is not fully informed about the young man or is given information in such unclear and ambiguous words that the young woman or her parents do not think much of it. However, once experienced, the situation is terrible and frightening. Often, the in-laws are the cause of matrimonial chaos or problems. They know very well their own child, now the husband, would not discountenance whatever instruction they give him as it relates to his wife. They will sow seed of dissension by attacking the woman unfairly. Like Izune said, due to lack of righteous words, correct words, honesty. They have painted a different scenario for the woman. when they were courting, so to say, before they got married, she has a different impression. Now she has come in and she's seen something that is totally different from the scenario painted. Rather than the in-laws, so to say, accepting and being honest, being truthful with their, shall we say, daughter-in-law, they rather engage in something that is not actually preached by Islam, trying to, as His Holiness said, subjecting her to cruelty. And as a lady, she would want to endure. She probably wouldn't want to face them, but she'll be reporting to her family, this is what I'm going through here. And this type of issue, His Holiness is saying we should try to avoid it. No in-law should subject their daughter-in-law to cruelty. They should not always just be siding and be giving their own boy, their own child, the husband, a kind of preference. They should also cater for and take this daughter-in-law as their own daughter. Even, that is my further inference here, even if she has some weaknesses, which the husband must have too, because we have said, yes, nobody is perfect.
Absolutely.
Their husband, their own child, your husband, is not a perfect being. Rather than talking to their own child, the husband, to mend his ways, they will focus on the daughter-in-law. His Holiness is trying to say, in-laws should not do this. Absolutely. And indirectly he's saying they should imbibe the quality of Qawlu Sadid, and they should be righteous, especially when it comes into meddling into the affairs of the couples. That's just a good message here.
Mr. Abbas, this is quite instructive. And one point also catches my attention here in the passage you have just reviewed, where His Holiness Amyalabi's helper said that at times before marriage, the young woman is not fully informed about the young man, or is given information in such unclear and ambiguous words that the young woman or her parents do not think much of it. This is very, very compelling to note, because there is an instance, for example, in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a woman came to him consulting him his opinion about certain two individuals who have proposed to her. So she was asking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam his opinions about them. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as for this, he beats wives. Probably the man was having wives at home, maybe to take her second wife or third wife. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as for this one, he beats wife. As for this, he doesn't give much. He's stingy. So look at that honesty in giving information. So that is the issue, that before marriage, the young woman was not given enough full information
about the
husband. The information given to her are so ambiguous
scanty.
So sometimes some of us, when people seek our opinions about it, and we know the reality about it,
we won't say it.
We will not say it. I don't want people to hear
that
I was
the one that told him that is this.
But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in this example, upheld the principle of Qawlu Sadid, that being straightforward. She has come for an advice, and he gave her his opinions as best as he could, and as honest and truthful as it should be. Yes, absolutely. So this is inspiring for us. And taking it further, His Holiness, may Allah be his helper, he said further, it is sometimes noted that in such situations, owing to decency and sympathy, the young man wishes to keep his wife, but the mother-in-law or sister-in-law are very harsh, and they make their son or brother take such harsh actions that the poor young woman is left with only two options: to either separate or spend the rest of her life enduring cruelty. It has also come to light that at times, when such harshness is perpetrated, then later on, when the young woman acquires control in her capacity as the daughter-in-law, she too begins harsh and unfair treatment of the mother-in-law. And so this vicious satanic cycle continues in families that do not abide by righteousness. It means what leads to all this is lack of abiding by the dictates of righteousness,
Yes.
of justice, of honesty, and of truthfulness. This is just the summary of it all. That, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, they exercise prayer, unhealthy prayer on the daughter-in-law or the husband, that is the son-in-law, as the case may be. This is unnecessary, meddling into the affairs of both of them. Sometimes some mother-in-law or father-in-law, they don't realize the fact that this daughter-in-law and son-in-law, they are different from them, from the parents, in-law. Don't think because you've got it right between yourself as father-in-law and mother-in-law, then they must get it the same way you've got it. Because you are quite different. In terms of individuality, you are different.
Even
The backgrounds,
generational gap. Is
absolutely.
Also there.
They have come from different backgrounds. And they also have, different visions of marriage. And so there has to be sincerity in giving advice and in knowing the limits one has to go. Meddling in the affairs. Okay. All these are very paramount. For example, the case of where the mother-in-law telling daughter-in-law that, it is more than a year, 2 years, you have not produced, you are bring forth grandchildren for me. I give you 3 months. You have to do that. Else, another wife will be brought in. So that is, that is unhealthy prayer on her. And the result is that it creates chaos at home. And that is just the fact His Holiness has presented here. Sure. And it is enough as guidance for us, viewers listening, that, we imbibe all these teachings. We, change things that are negative in our marital lives and turn to positive ones so that we can experience true peace and happiness. Absolutely.
Thank you. His Holiness now said, even though at the time of Nikah, when proposal and consent is given, Quranic verses pertaining to righteousness and Qawli speaking the right word, are recited to draw attention to the fact that we must create such a paradisical society and such an environment that others are drawn towards us, although there will be just a few such examples in the Jamaat, yet they are hurtful and painful examples. The Quranic verse that is being explained right now is also one of the verses recited at the time of the Nikah. As Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be pleased with him, once said, always think of the consequences before saying or doing anything. And also that Allah, the Exalted, is aware of whatever you do. What else do we want? What is remaining here now that His Holiness has not covered? This is also another clarion call to all stakeholders, so to say, in the marital affairs of couples, that the verse that is being recited, or that was recited during the Nikah, acceptance and consent given, are we adhering to this verse? The teachings there, the lessons there, the commandments there, the call you said, being honest, being truthful, being straightforward. Are we adhering to it? This is another point that His Holiness is drawing our attention to. And he said that we must create such a paradisical society, and we should create such an environment that others should be made to be drawn towards us. That means we shouldn't make hell for people. We shouldn't create a scenario that will make people to be distant from us, that will see us from afar and they are not drawn to us. We can only achieve this if we, one, internally, we imbibe the quality of Khalifatul, and externally, we exhibit it, especially in handling issues between those spouses that are our children, on the side of the husband, on the side of the wife. So this is when people look at it, that the way, look at the Ahmadis, they are sincere. They are not hiding anything. They are not playing hanky-panky. They are not hurting the wife. It will make them to want to say, how are they doing it? They will definitely know that we are only abiding by the commandments contained in those verses that are recited at the period of solemnizing the Nikah. And this is where we want to tell everybody, listeners, that those verses must be kept in mind at all times. It's not just for that day alone.
Absolutely.
So, and here, actually, I want to pause there because of time, but the message is we should always have that in mind. What we are doing when we are talking of Nikah is lillahi wa rasulihi, and not for any other consideration, not for any materialistic things or any worldly things, but to satisfy the command of Almighty Allah.
Yes, absolutely, Mr. Abbas. You hit the right word there and the right point that are to be made in this respect. Is so instructive, his statement that we must create such a paradisical society and such an environment that others are drawn towards us, that we must create homes that are exemplary for others to emulate. Muslim home, true Muslim home. I think it's quite instructive. I'm reminded of, over a decade ago, as a missionary of the Jamaat in one of our Jamaats, there was a lady who came to our mosques that she wanted to convert to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. She wanted to become an Ahmadi Muslim. And I asked her, why do you want to join the Jamaat Ahmadiyya? You're already a Muslim. What's inspired you? And in my mind, I was perhaps expecting her to say, oh, it's because of the way we preach, the truth that we preach, and the peaceful message we spread across. But she did not even mention all that. All that she said was that while I was young, years back, in our street, there is a family, or there was a family. I was observing them all throughout that time. They are pious. They are good. We could observe peace reigning in that family, in our street. And that family was an Ahmadi family. Ever since then, I have been inspired
to want to join.
So look at it. They were sending message of positivity, positive message to the people around by virtue of being virtuous, virtuous family, where in the neighborhood they don't hear them fighting. Husband beating wife, wife cursing husband, and it inspires the people around and draws them, because His Holiness, may Allah be said, and such an environment that others are drawn towards us. All these are instructive, Mr. Abbas Sahib. Dear viewers, this is Domestic Issues and Their Solutions, a program reviewing the pronouncement and guidance of His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, which, may Allah be his helper, which he delivered to provide solutions to the challenges couples and spouses are facing across the world. And absolutely, we still have much more to learn and to benefit from the show as we explore various guidance contained in it. Mr. Basai, it has been quite an interesting moment on the show today. And taking it further, His Holiness said in page 32 of the book that those who are unfair think no one is watching them. Those who are unfair think no one is watching them, and they can perpetrate whatever cruelty they want on someone else's daughter within their home. Allah the Exalted is aware of this, and if it is kept in view that Allah the Exalted is watching and Allah is aware, His Holiness says, Uzuz says, that is the first Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, says, then these ills can be avoided. May Allah make it so that every Ahmadi family, be it the husband, the wife, the mother-in-law, the daughter-in-law, or the sister-in-law, all abide by righteousness and create a beautiful society. This is straight to the fact. And it is profound in all ramifications that it contained. I mean, this excerpt contained, we see light of guidance, beacon of, peace that, when we adopt them, we can experience true peace. Husband can be, returning home from work and be joyous to meet his wife and children at home. Not husband who is returning from office. Oh, I'm going back to that home where there is a fire burning already, ready to consume him. Or wife who will feel, oh, my husband is coming again. That troublesome man is returning home. It has been peaceful in his absence. In his presence, it is always more or less like a war. So that kind of environment, they are not conducive for a genuine husband or wife to live in. And that's why we see a whole lot of breakups. I mean, divorce on the increase nowadays. I think this platform really provides good means for us to reform things that have been deformed in our homes. Mr. Abasai.
Yes, thank you. You see, that's also what leads to some people staying away, that is after closing from their office, rather than come home, they will not come home. They will stay somewhere because they don't want much, interaction with the wife that they have had, let me say, they have conceived ill about. Whereas it's just a matter of communication and then extending hands of fellowship or hands of love. In one of his Friday sermons, this is what he said now, that in their capacity as mothers-in-law, and because such is their disposition, some women demand the daughter-in-law to be thrown out during small domestic altercations. But it is astonishing when fathers-in-law, men who have been given sense by Allah the Exalted, are influenced by their wives or their own accord, start reprimanding daughters-in-law, so much so that they unfairly raise their hands on daughters-in-law and also ask their sons to hit them, saying it does not matter if she dies in the process. They will bring another wife. May Allah give sense to such men. They should heed the words of the Prophet Messiah on whom be peace, where he said that such men are cowards and not men. This is self-explanatory.
Absolutely.
It's self-explanatory. You shouldn't join those who are not well informed to start raising your hands against the daughter-in-law or influencing the father-in-law or even the father-in-law himself. Now raising his hand to beat the daughter-in-law.
Becoming the active player.
Active player. You've spent your own life with your madam. You have lived your life the way you wanted to live it. They are just coming up and they are still young. Why giving them undue and unnecessary pressure?
It's absolutely.
So this clarion call to fathers-in-law and mothers-in-law to really stay clear of the couples. Let them find their own path. Let them navigate. They will gain experience with time. You don't need to start really, and he has commented about those who do that. They are cowards and they are not men.
Absolutely, they are cowards and they are not men. It reminds me of one Arabic proverb that when the elder of the house, the father of the house, takes drums, a tabla, and is beating it. He said, don't blame the children when they begin to dance. So when the head of the family, I mean the father-in-law, as elderly as he is, is meddling in the affairs of the daughter and the daughter-in-law and the son, to the extent that he's even beating the wife, then don't blame the children at home when they are misbehaving. I think that's, if things have got to that extent, it is extremely negative and should be discouraged. But if you can quickly take this portion of the book where His Holiness, may Allah be his helper, declared that, I say it with great sadness that in Canada, acrimony between husband and wife after marriage is growing quite rapidly. I believe the blame mostly lies with both sets of parents. They have no tolerance, or sometimes the man's parents try that he does not develop an understanding with his wife, and the couple do not nurture any mutual trust so that the parents do not lose their son. Then there are some mothers who spoil their daughters and make demands on the young man through their daughters. These people should have some fear of God. His Holiness delivered this address while in Canada, and therefore he localized the message to them who were in front of him as audience. But the fact is that the declaration, the statement here applies across board. I mean, across the world, this is what people are witnessing, experiencing, and they are totally discouraged. And I believe that if we imbibe all these values, which His Holiness has given us, many wrongs can be set aright at homes, and there can be peace and stability and happiness at home. Mr. Abasaif, we are actually run out of time, but if you can give us your final words.
Thank you. The thing is, those father-in-law and mother-in-law that are threatening their daughters-in-law that they are going to bring another wife for their son, what do they know? What will be the character of the new, so to say, the new girl they want to bring to their child? She might even be worse than the one they are condemning. So this is where they should just handle things with the fear of Almighty Allah. And that goes for all of us, really. That's my
MashaAllah, dear viewers, in issues relating to marital affairs at home, our guest today has said we should handle things with the fear of Allah. Mr. Abbas Saib, Jazakallah Khairah for the insightful review you have provided on the course of the show today. Dear viewers, if you have any question or comments, you can always reach us via africa@mte.tv. It has been a great time on the show today, and we still have much more to come on domestic issues and their solutions. Until next time, when we shall meet again, by the grace of Allah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أنت الذي حزت الرضا أنت المزكي للورى قدنا إلى نبع الصفا من بيتك المعمور